Behind every well-designed home is a team that makes it possible. This is Connections Considered. Most people see the finished product, not the steps it took to get there. But in custom cabinetry, that process is where everything starts to take shape.
Sure.
What is the typical process?
So a
Say I'm
process-
a designer
Sure.
and I bring my client.
So a process would start like this. We would either go to the home first or have a client come here. We'd love to have the clients come here because every client gets a tour of the factory. When they see this stuff being made, it really is an experience, right? So we call this not a showroom, we call this an experience center. You can walk through here and experience these different environments, a living room, a mud room, a kitchen, a bar. But then you can go on the factory floor and experience craftspeople actually making something. And that's something I think we're losing in this country, right? So we bring that back and then people leave here and say, I really need that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want that.
I need this.
Right.
I need this.
So it's like if you went to the Ferrari factory, you might not understand why a Ferrari costs $250,000. But if you went to the factory and saw it being made, you'd be like, okay, now I understand. This is what we are doing here on this factory floor. So again, we get them here, then we go to the home. We meet with usually the designer, the builder, the homeowner, maybe the architect, and talk about issues. How is a beam going to work? Where should the window be placed? We try to get in there very early, in architecturals, because that way we can help guide the client on should that window be moved, right? Because once we're locked into a window placement, that really affects the kitchen layout.
Oh, yeah.
What we're designing really matters, right? It is a lifestyle. It's the worst thing that could happen is we design a kitchen you come down the next day and you're like, oh, I didn't think about this.
Right.
The goal is that we pre-think all of this. We're in the early stages when you're digging the hole for the house or when you're buying it and it's a 6 to 9 month remodel.
Right.
We want to be in the very early stages, right, in that thought process. Then our designers start drawing in CAD, right, doing renderings, these beautiful, cool, colored walkthroughs, right?
Yeah.
Then we'll go into production, right? So, and there's the lead time, right? So you're kind of, when you order a couch, you're waiting in line, right? It's the same concept with furniture. So it's sitting in queue, and then you have time that you can modify the color, you can modify the door. But then once you go into production, it's like, okay, we're building this, right? And it's about a 6-week process. It shows up, and then our install team, we have 4 teams of installers as well as countless subcontract installers depending on the region, right? So, but we oversee that. Our project managers oversee that process from the day we show up to the day that we're doing the final touch up on the crown, okay? And we warrant it for 3 years. We're calling this an experience. We want the client to feel handheld through the whole experience.
Well, and I think that's really critical. I've talked to different vendors and different contractors, and whatever you're selling, having someone holding your hand and with you from start to finish, because
really
a lot of people drop off at, okay, we've manufactured it, and now your
somebody else's
contractor,
problem.
has to figure it out, and now you can't warrant it because you didn't do the work.
A thoughtful process doesn't just make things easier, it leads to a better result every time. Knowing what to expect is where that process really starts. This is Connections Considered.